Hi, this is Lois DeWitt. This is going to be a demonstration of a shading exercise with oil pastels. It's actually going to be all about light and shadow, and not just using shading, but by also using white for illumination. So to begin with, I have drawn a square here and a circle. Just a simple form. We're going to turn this circle into a sphere that is illuminated from this direction by light. And the background, we're going to change the background so that this will become dimensional instead of just geometrical shapes, a rectangle and a circle. And we're going to do it all through pastels. So to begin with, the choice of color is up to you. Whatever you want to use. I'm starting out with a tan, a dark color, because this is going to represent where the shadow is. And instead of just using one color for the shadow, I'm going to use several to give it a nice, rich volume. So step by step, I'll walk you through this process. We're beginning with the shadow now. Keeping in mind where the direction of the illumination is. In this case, it's coming from the upper right hand corner. Now, in most shading exercises that we've done, we've only used a darker color in the pencil and shading exercise, or Conti crayon, just the darker color. But in this, we're going to use a lighter color to represent the light. Now, I'm going to, before I go any further, I'm going to take another color and go into this. Green. So actually, by doing this, you're going to be learning several different things. You're going to be learning how to make light and shadow with oil pastels. And you're going to also be learning how to blend color, the various colors, and make the color situation richer. So that was the green. Now I'm going to go back in with the tan a little bit. I'll leave off right now, right about there. See, you can do this quite loosely. You don't have to be all that exacting to get the effects that you need. Now, because the light is coming from here, I know that this area of the square is going to be lighter than this. And because there's a shadow in back, logically, it's going to have to be a darker color back there or a different color. I'm going to use red as a contrasting color to delineate between the background and the circle. I'm going to take it right out to the edge. Once you get these basic colors down, you'll see that you'll be able to play with them, work them against each other to get the effects that you want, which can be quite dramatic with oil pastels. I think I'm going to leave off right now, trying to make a decision as to whether I want red to go all the way around right now. Now I'm going to bring in another color. In this case, it's going to be green. Now you can see that this is actually the same green as I used on here, but because I used it with the tan color, it's really quite different. The green here, even in the same amount, is darker. It actually turns into a kind of blue. Oil pastels have a marvelous transparent quality to them that will allow you to be able to do this. I still have quite a bit of white shining through, and the color interaction isn't quite there yet because that white acts as sort of a little detour. So maybe before I go any further, I'm going to see if I can find a nice dark brown and add a third color. Fill it in a little better. Make it darker and denser. Get that white out of there. This paper has a little tooth. It has a rough texture, a little bit of a rough texture. So it takes a bit of doing to get the white out. I'm going to bring this brown around a little bit now. Now we said that this is going to be the lighter part, so how can we do that? Well, let's work in the background a little bit first. And then let's bring in a lighter color here. You can actually bring that lighter color in here. Now it's starting to get interesting because you can see that you're going to have to play the colors one against each other, one against the other, to create the tonal effects, the effects of light and shadow that you need. But we're not going to be using black and white, are we? We're going to be using colors. I'm going to bring in another color here now, a lighter color. Again, this is going to be like a light pink into this area. As you can see, that the more that the white of the paper goes away, the better we are able to see what we're doing and how we're working with the color. see how I brought that green back, and now I'm using the lighter color to go into that green. I want to give this green a little more volume, so I'm bringing in a brown as a darker color, as a shadow. You can see how dark and light colors work to make shadow and light. This is a very good way to learn tonality in color. I mean, we're all aware that some colors are light and some colors are dark. But how they behave when you put them down on the paper or canvas is something that you have to learn by doing. I'm going to bring another color in here in the background now. This is light yellow to begin to express the light. Direction of line is important too. You use the colors very much like you would use cross-hatching with a pencil. You will get a more even effect. Probably one of the nicest things about pastels is white. You can bring white in, and just like oil paints, it will work the same way for you. By creating the illusion of illumination. This is the background, the dark background and the sphere now are fairly emphasized. This is a little vague over here yet. I'm going to have to do something about that to delineate, you know, the background is in the back of this illuminated sphere, but it is lighter. So I'm using a medium tonality color, which in this case is a rust color. You can use practically any color that you want with pastels. And the blends are always rich. If you surprise yourself working a rust over an ochre and then putting a pink or something over it will give you a beautiful, rich result. A lighter color like this, actually applied in the darker areas, will just enrich it a little further. Well, that's pretty. I'm going to work the green in. I seem to have kind of a line here. I'm going to work a little green in there to see if I can get rid of that line. Make the shading just a little more delicate. And then how can I soften it? Soften it by bringing in the rust back into the green. This is a very nice color. It is transparent enough so that it really integrates well with the other colors. Well, I think I could work a little further to get some of the little stars of texture out so that the colors will be more uniform. But you can do that, these little areas here, just by going over it. But I think we have a pretty good example of how we can do change just a circle and a square into a volume or a planet. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing it.